how did you come to this exact place? And you say these things about big companies versus small companies, and I know that you say them from experience, but kind of explain that experience.
Yeah, so I knew at age 6 I wanted to be a pediatric neurosurgeon. So I kind of had these like very, very ambitious goals, but they were very ambitious along kind of the tried and true career paths. When I got into college, I kind of had this identity crisis. I realized there was like this great big world out there that I didn't know about. And that came from getting involved with a very early stage startup. And that experience was critical because I came in early member of a small team that absolutely exploded over the next few years. And so I got to be on the ground floor as a glorified intern as this company went from, handful of employees more or less to like several thousand. As it went from like, six figures to eight figures very quickly. And that was the frame of reference that I entered the world with, out of college, where I was really kind of on my own for the first time. And I was like, I know I want to get involved in business. I don't know how to do that. And I especially want to be in an environment where kind of the time between idea and implementation is shorter. But I didn't know that took several years and several experiences to learn. My first real job out of college was working for one of the probably 25 largest companies in the country, in financial services, and that was a very drastically different experience from working at an early stage company. I wore a suit and tie every day. I was, going to the office. I was like one of the first people in the office every morning because I wanted to be successful. I had that ambition, but also it was a very rigid corporate environment, and I was in a cubicle farm with tons of other interns. We were hitting the phones all day, but it was very structured and almost to the point where I felt a little bit suffocated. And so, over the next several years, I bounced around through a lot of different jobs, but a lot of different environments, a lot of different sizes and scales and types of businesses. Ultimately, kind of found my sweet spot over the next probably 7 or 8 years. Found my sweet spot working in companies that were, they had a product, they had a customer base, they were growing. I like to call it like post product market fit companies, but companies who were in the like, six figures on their way to, so like $500,000 in revenue to $10 million in revenue. Like that's where I want to work. That's where I feel like I have the most impact, but it's also the kind of typically a business that's in that curve. It's a smaller, scrappier team where it hasn't grown so big that it becomes almost bureaucratic, where you now have to go to a committee and get like buy-in from 20 different people to make a decision. I like to work in the environment where you can just go implement something in the afternoon without seeking consensus. And I think that learning that about myself also was a key clue for me that it was like I probably need to be I probably need to just go own or buy or start